Hello, and welcome back to the Bober Academy Football Podcast. As we continue our Lineman of the Week series, we're joined by Grand Island Northwest this week. I'm your host, Chris Bober, 8-year NFL veteran, 4 years with the Giants, 4 years with the Chiefs, and had the privilege of starting a game at every position in the O-line in the NFL. I'm also the founder of the Bober Academy, where our mission is to train and develop superior linemen to dominate on the gridiron. And of course, I'm the offensive line coach at Creighton Prep here in Omaha, Nebraska. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, if you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe to our podcast channel. That way you're notified when we drop new episodes once or twice a week. If you're watching this on YouTube, right down there is a subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. We have tons of great content out there. And our handle is at Bober Academy on social media. So retweet, like, comment, share, all the things that you all do on social media. Now, this is, of course, my favorite part of the podcast is I get to bring in offensive linemen here in the regional area because offensive linemen don't get interviewed in the paper. They don't have stats, but obviously we know we're the best looking, the smartest guys out there. But I like to feature these guys out there. And, this week, one of my favorite teams, and this is a team, Grand Island Northwest is a team that every single year they are always solid. And when it gets to playoff time, they play good football. I was at the game last year when they beat the Elkhorn Antlers, a team that was highly ranked, and they came out and took it to them. And every single year, they seem to kind of just build up and get some steam by the end of the year. So I got Coach Stein here today, which I really appreciate him coming on. I also have a couple O linemen here. Looks like a senior left guard Tucker Wiegert, and the left tackle is just a junior, Brandon Bykerk. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Let's talk about some Viking football here. All the way out there in Grand Island, you guys continually have just a solid program. Your season so far, Coach, it seems like every year you guys kind of roll out of the gates instead of bursting out of the gates. But by the end of the year, you're playing good football. This year you start 1-3, and then you've rattled off 4 wins in a row. Looks like you've won your district. So you're in great shape for the playoffs. Tell me about kind of the story of this season so far, and where you guys started to where you are right now.
Well, our first 6 games, those 6 teams were ranked in the top 7. So, started out 1-3, but then finished at 3-3. So that was, that was nice. It just. We're kind of a program that kind of knows that we need to play our best ball at the end, and we don't need to really push, for everything, especially early in the season. So we want to be playing our best at the end, and then, as like you said, the season and this podcast is built around O linemen, and we felt great about our O line and our depth, kind of coming into the season, and then we lose 2 doozy of kids, Cooper Ewald, who's been this would have been his 3rd year starting. Then we lost Tucker, both in the second quarter of our first game. So put us in a tailspin. So we started a different set of linemen for week 2, different set for week 3, different set for week 4, different set for week 5. Then we get I think week 5 we 5 or 6 we bring back Tucker. He came back, and then the next week we lose another one. So so Tucker's only played 3-ish games for us.
Yeah, 3 games.
Yeah, two full ones, right? Yeah, 2 full ones, and then a little bit of that first one, and then we lose, another good one in Zach Mater. So we're kind of piecing things together. We got some, guys like Brandon. He started for us as a sophomore. Kind of out of necessity. And we had a Gabe Ruiz who really stepped up, and an Eli Carroll who stepped up that we weren't really planning on, and they're playing extremely well. So it's kind of nice that now this is I think our 3rd week of going with the same O line. So we're pretty excited to play York with guys that know who the guy is to the left and to the right of them.
Yeah. And, again, this is my first year coaching in high school. I've been around football, of course, my whole life, and I'm just loving it. But one of the things I'm noticing is that, you start the season just like you talked about, because we had the same thing here at Prep. We had a monster schedule. Our first 6 games were against top 10 teams. But what our head coach has talked about is like we got to be playing our best football by the time we get to our district.
Yeah.
Those are the important games. Those are the games that give you more power points, that give you better seeding in the playoffs. Is that kind of your message to your team when you kind of start the year?
Yeah, I don't think we really we don't really kind of push about the district games until it gets to the district games. For us, our guys kind of work in the off season, work in the preseason, because we get to face Aurora week 1, and that's the one that we always circle on our calendar, and they circle for us. So that kind of gives us that motivation, and then it's after that it's 'cause that's that rivalry game that we all want, and then after that it's kind of just that week by week, just get a little bit better. Let's get a little bit better this week, get a little bit better the next week, and then once districts come around, it's like okay, now it's time to really get serious. Let's go out and just win ball games.
Nice. Now, Tucker, I guess I didn't know your story of your senior year. Looking forward to a great year, and then of course you go down, and you have to kind of be a good teammate. Then you get back on the field. Tell me kind of your journey this season from probably coming in with a lot of expectations and having to sit out for a little while and then finally get back on the field. What's that kind of roller coaster of emotions been for you?
Yeah, I never expected to go out senior year. I've never had problems with my knees or anything until then. And then just I tore it, and then it was a partial tear. So I had a chance coming back. I just had to do a lot of work and then watch my linemen, help them improve while I was out, help the backups. And then I got the word that I could come back for Hastings. So I was hyped about that. And it was at home, so it was first game back at home, which was nice.
Nice. So, what was it when you were injured? Were you kind of out there like kind of being like an assistant coach for the O-line?
I was helping him a little. I was helping. Yeah, I would
Mhm.
just stay with him a lot because I knew I wasn't going to play defense, but I would still be over there with the defense too. But I was always helping the line, just getting them back.
Chris, he did a great job that first week. When he was hurt, he was pretty down. And he was out at practice, but he was just out there at practice. And then that second week, okay, so all right, I have to just kind of sit a few weeks, and he really did. He kind of just started nitpicking some of our guys that were coming in for him and stuff like that, and helping them out for a couple weeks. And then that last week or two before he was ready to play, he did something that I've never seen anybody do. Our O-line would call a play. The O-line would go up to the line of scrimmage, and he was probably 8 yards behind the left guard, taking his stance, doing his steps, doing everything against air, 8-10 yards directly behind the left guard. So when he got the clearance to kind of, get back in there, he just jumped right in, and it wasn't a big deal. So he helped others and then prepared himself, coming close to that game time.
Wow, that shows a lot of maturity right there. And I guess as a coach, we can use about 20 of those guys on our team.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon, tell me how the season's gone for you. You sounds like you've been one of the mainstays in there, playing left tackle and doing all the things you do. Have you had to step up a little bit, be more of a leader? And what have you seen your guys kind of follow you up front?
Yeah, I would say I've definitely had to take more of a leadership position, which is kind of something that was a change for me this year, I would say. But as Coach Stein said, we've had a lot of different line changes, and I blocked a lot with Tucker last year, and it's easy to block with Tucker because I know what he's capable of, and I know what assignments he can do and which he can't. And I kind of had to block with some different left guards when in Tucker's absence, Eli Carroll, Isaac Martinez. So it's just the small things, like even in game when those guys had questions about what steps to take or just anything about the play, I would lean over and I'd tell them where to go, because I've kind of been in the offensive system for a while now. And I definitely had to take more of a leadership position, I'd say. And I kind of embraced and I kind of enjoyed it.
Nice. I love to hear that. Hear those guys stepping up and doing that. Now, Coach, you guys got a pretty big game this week. Tell me about your obviously you got a game plan and you don't have to share that out here. But tell me about kind of how you guys are preparing for this week 9 game. Obviously, it's a big game. You guys it looks like you've won your district, you're going to the playoffs. What's your message here, guys, this week about playing week 9?
I kind of said earlier, in the preseason, you always circle in that Aurora game and kind of for that, and then right after that Aurora game, you circle the York game. Every school has that,
Yeah.
rivalry 1, rivalry 2 type thing, and you want to get it, and we let one slip out. Like we talked about it, last year, we were up and we're just having a comfortable, probably 7-point lead, and we gave up a score with like minute and a half, 2 minutes left. Well, we were actually up by 4, so then they go up by 3, and then we march right down the field. Have a great kicker, Peyton Atwood, who's having a heck of a career now at Concordia, and on their wet, grassy field, slips and falls, and we miss a field goal to go to overtime. So that kind of leaves a sour taste in our mouth right there. And then we had to go on the road against Elkhorn, which we didn't want to do. We wanted that home game. So. York is one of those that when you talk about game plan, you know exactly what they're going to do. Their defense is just absolutely legit. Scoring on them is going to be hard. They're going to slow the game down offensively. So our possessions got to count. They play an incredible 3-4 scheme. Versus the 3-4, you got to be able to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, then you're in trouble. And so you got to change a little bit of schematics, for how they play their 3-4, because they are so good with that, and they're outside they're such well-trained outside linebackers that just dominate the run game and the pass game. So you got to have the down. Our big thing has been downhill run. Our downhill run has to be incredible because they want you to stretch the ball sideline to sideline and make the tackle the line of scrimmage. So that's our thing is we've been talking about point of attack, and we got to be good right at it and be downhill with these cats.
Yeah. And, this being such a big game, obviously you have a playoff game after that. So you want to push for this game, but not that it's a season, but to as like a stepping stone, get into the playoffs. Now, Brandon, tell me about you guys. How's your preparation going so far this week for York?
I would say it's been pretty great so far. We're changed up our scheme a little bit, and I think every single guy in our O-line has been great and picking this up quick and learning it. And I think so far through our first couple practices, I think even with all these new assignment changes, we're all picking it up very well, and I think we're at a very good spot this week so far.
Nice. Now, how about you, Tucker? I mean, you got those fresh legs, right? You only got a couple of games in you. You're kind of still chomping at the bit, man. What do you see this game coming down to this week, and how you guys going to be able to pull off the win?
Yeah, I think we got a pretty good game plan right now. We're doing pretty good O-line. We just got to know that we got to be able to run the ball, and that's how it's going to have to be. Otherwise, it's going to be a dogfight till the end.
Yeah, and I always like these playoff type games towards the end of the season because then it just gets you ready for the real playoffs. So that'll be a great challenge for you guys. Now, Coach, tell me about your offense. I've seen some film on you guys. I haven't been able to see you guys in person really. But it sounds like you guys obviously want to run the ball. You guys got a pretty balanced look up there. Tell me about what you guys are doing over there and some of your skilled players and what they're bringing to the table for you guys this year.
Yeah, we're I've always been a Big Ten personnel guy. That's my bread and butter where we like to kind of be at. We changed a couple of years ago. My son Joe is a nice tight end. We have Hayden Atkins, who also is a nice tight end. So we got these two cats coming up, so let's get that going a little bit. And so we run a lot more 11 personnel. With that. And so, for years we've been an inside-outside zone. That's where we're going to kind of lay our hat on. We have to be able, that's like our bread and butter. And then, and when we do like to have a little option game, with a little, pin and pull and, getting that guard, pulling that guard up to inside backer and stuff like that. So that's kind of our bread and butter as far as running the ball wise it goes. And then teams kind of know against us that we're gonna throw the heck out of quicks. We loved shotgun wise 3-step, really 1-step drop out of that and throw the pitches and outs and the verts and stuff like that. And then we love to roll out. That's kind of really where we kind of stay. And one thing that's been nice for us is we got a nice O-line that does their job, but we got kids like, it's kind of strange, Tucker Wiegert there is a heck of a thick O-lineman for us and a guard for us, and his twin brother is the speedy receiver. I mean, he can just blow the top off it. He's a heck of a long jumper, 200, 400 guy, so that's been great for us because he's been able to take the top off of defenses. And then on the other opposite of him, we got a junior about 6'3", I'm guessing 190, 195. That's about a half step slower than him that can also take the top off. And we like just to throw jump balls out to him. And then we kind of have a little Wes Welker type guy. I like to, we put a little Wes. We have a little Wes Welker and Easton Bachman, and then we got a big, tall, kind of lanky receiver, and then we got just the speedster, the long jumper on the other end, and then we got 2 running backs that are absolutely inside outside zone runners. They are downhill, thicker type kids that really want to get downhill. It's kind of like they're kind of like your Chiefs running back that came from LSU.
Hilaire.
Yes, they're both like him. They're both that kind of stockier, not very tall, and really run downhill. So it's good. Inside outside zones are a really good concept for them. And then we got just a wiry gunslinger quarterback in Cam Jansen. You never know where the ball is going to go. He throws off platform extremely well, and so he throws the ball real well.
Yeah, the good thing about that, and I saw that last year up here in Elkhorn when when you guys need to score quick, you can. It's like you're always trying to do that. You want to get some balance, but it makes the defense have to cover the entire field and put the ball in your best playmaker's hands.
Yeah.
So Brandon, tell me about this offense. What your role as a left tackle? Sounds like you guys pass the ball a lot. What's your favorite part about your offense and what you guys are doing?
My favorite part about the offense is kind of how explosive we've been so far. Blocking for Cam, it's very easy. Coach Stein likes to call him a gamer, and I kind of like that term. Cam kind of has a different kind of swagger to him on a Friday night, and when he gets in rhythm, he really makes blocking quicks really easy for us up front because he's just catching and slinging it everywhere. But yeah, my favorite part about the offense is probably blocking for Cam and just watching him throw a lob ball to Cam Walker in the end zone or a 50-yard pass to Chase Wiegert and watching him score. I mean, that's probably my favorite part. Awesome.
Now, Tucker, you got to sit there and watch this offense probably for the first time in years. When you were sitting there watching it, what were your thoughts about your offense and what you guys do, and obviously while you're waiting to get back in there, you probably saw a little different angle than you did while you're playing.
Yeah. Well, at the start, I was a little nervous because we could not run the ball at all. It was a struggle. And then you got Cam. He got the pass game going. We've been passing pretty good this year. And then Chase, my brother. He's very fast, can outrun the corners pretty good. And so we always rely, and I trust Jens as a quarterback.
That's awesome. Well, the twin brother, it sounds like he got the speed, but you got the brawn and probably the smarts and the looks. We're all linemen, so we get all that stuff. He's just the fast guy. But all right. So Coach, as we kind of wrap up here a little bit, tell me about, you mentioned a lot of guys on your O-line, but tell me about some of the guys that are really contributing up front for you guys. Just kind of share a little bit about them and what they're doing. We got 2 big studs on here right now, but I know you got a bunch of other guys that contribute too.
That you're exactly right. When we came into the season, we really kind of knew that two positions were hammered down, and that's these 2 cats. We knew that Tuck was going to be a guard. We didn't know which side, and we knew that Brandon, because they were awesome for us last year. Tucker got was like our 6th lineman last year, and we lost one right away, and we lost him in our scrimmage. So, bam, Tucker thrown right in there and has a heck of a season for us. And Brandon then, has a heck of a season for us last year. So we knew those two cats were in there, but then we didn't. And then, I take it back. And we knew that Cooper Ewald, our returning center, loved him. We're like, man, those three cats are in there, but we don't know who our other two are going to be. And then we end up losing Coop right away. So that kind of day's a struggle. So, the Eli Carroll and especially Gabe Ruiz have been incredible, just surprises. I mean, we got a left tackle in Brandon Bykerk, who's a junior. On the other side of right tackle, we go with a guard at Gabe Ruiz, a sophomore in Gabe Ruiz. And then so we're like, okay, so these cats are playing okay. And then all of a sudden, this Tyson Brewer, comes out this year and we moved from a tackle to a guard. And boy, has it just been a wonderful fit for him. Then he has been probably the, Tyson and Gabe have probably been the absolute biggest surprises for us and pleasant surprises. And they just they work hard. They get mad when they mess up. Boy, both of them today got so frustrated because they just messed up. They just missed.
Yeah.
If they missed a scheme, missed somebody, or mess up a scheme, something like that. And so they're just real passionate about it, And then Eli Carroll's just been steady for us at center. He was at guard for a while, like Brandon said, but then we moved him into that center, and that's just a much better home for him. So those guys, and then you have Isaac Martinez, who's he starts at a D tackle for us, but he can come in for either one of our guards and do great, for us. And then we have kind of a young guy in Landon Connor who's ready in case we need something if Brandon or Gabe goes down to tackle. So those are kind of our I won't say our ponies up front that have been mainstays for us, especially after losing a couple of hammers in Zach Wiegert and Cooper Ewald for us.
Yep. I think as a coach, it's so cool to see some of these guys, and what I call it is varsity scar tissue, right? You got to get them out there, and they got to experience what it's like to play varsity football. And once they do, the growth in them happens fast, and you see them start to kind of get it. And it's this amazing thing to watch. And having you guys have gone through that. Now you guys kind of have a little bit of a much better situation with guys that are ready to play when something else happens. So that's a great situation. I know what that's like, having gone through that myself. Now, Brandon, you stepped in as a leader this year as only a junior, but tell me some more about your guys up front. You've been out there. What's it like with these guys out in the huddle and in practice? Share me some of their personality traits and what's going on up there.
Tucker can kind of be a loudmouth. He's kind of a cornball of the O-line. And then Tyson Brewer has his moments as well, and so does Ruiz. I'd say I'm probably the quietest one on the line, but which I think is okay for that. I think you need at least one guy on the line who can kind of focus in a little bit. But I think all four Tucker, Eli Carroll, Brewer, and Ruiz, I think all of them just have great personalities, and they're all great friends to be around.
Yeah, I love it when the O-line are close. When I was an O-lineman, we go to buffets together and just wreck a buffet. Get it, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's good to see you guys growing closer together. Now, Tucker, you're the senior. We're going to give you the last word here. You get the last chance to kind of share anything that you think is funny, something maybe people don't know about some of your O-linemen up there. Feel free to embarrass them. Who's the funny one? Who's the smelly one? Is there a funny story? Again, senior, you get the last word here.
Yeah. Bykerk, he just never really talks, which I thought was funny to me because there was this one time last year, we were coming from the sleds and he was like yelling about stuff, and I was the first time I ever heard him yell, and I was like, holy crap. And then
Nice.
you always have Gabe. Gabe always has something funny to say, no matter when or wherever. But then when he makes a mistake, you'll hear it. He'll be loud, and then he'll like get mad, and then he'll go in and fix it and fix his mistake, and then he'll be good.
Nice. Well, sounds like you guys have a pretty special group up there, having to use multiple guys. Coach, last thing as we'll wrap this up here now. A lot of coaches will have like a theme for the year. Do you guys have one of those this year? every year, sometimes coaches will come up with a theme, or what is it? What's your message to your guys? I know as a coach, usually you want to have something that you lean on. What's your message to your guys? Week in and week out.
Yeah, I don't do a yearly theme. Get after it, go get it, earn what's yours, whatever, like that. We don't do that. I stole from everything from PJ Fleck, years ago on Row the Boat. So and we're Vikings, I follow everything, with that. We always break down on row and stuff like that. I'm not a big lecture type guy. I before practice, we just kind of get out and get going. After practice, I like to keep things like underneath 30 seconds, just because I think that, after games, after practices, and, last thing they want to do is hear kind of just lecture and whatnot. And that's just not me. We have guys like, Coach Chambly on our team, he does our pregame speeches. I'd only do those because I think he's full energy, young buck that just gets the dudes hyped up, like that. Coach Journey he runs our offensive line. This is his second year with us. Came from the Brandon Cool system at Kearney. Also, he loves the pull. He loves the zone, and he's been coached well. So I let them go. I let Coach Carter go. Coach Ionetic, he's the one that's going to lecture our defenses and stuff like that. So I try to kind of let them go. So as far as messages go, I don't really buy into the one every year, something or every week something. I think we just kind of address what it is, and the importance of this week versus York, and the playoff means, and it's York, and that we stubbed our toe last year and we shouldn't have. So I just kind of bring up those points, let them kind of simmer, and we move on.
Nice. That also lets the guys kind of take some ownership of that too. So whatever you guys are doing out there, it's working really well. Again, quick before I end this thing, subscribe to our podcast channel. Right down there is a YouTube link. And of course, it's at Bober Academy on all the social media channels. So gentlemen, best of luck this week against a good opponent. And especially as you head into the playoffs, I wish you nothing but health going forward. And I'd love to see you guys out there winning some big games here as we finish the season. So thank you so much for joining us on the Bober Academy Football Podcast. Can't wait to see you guys perform this week and into the playoffs. Thanks for coming on, guys.
All right. Thanks for having us.